Hello everybody, so today I will show the technique how to do about the basic limit. This is on the calculus number 1 and we need to learn how to do the limit in here. Question number 1, we have the limit s approach to number 4 and we have s power 3 minus 64 divided to s power 2 minus 16. So in here, we can see that if we put number 4 in s power 2 and number 4 in s power 3, you will got about 16 and 64. This means that we got about 0 and 0 in here. So in here, we need to do about the factor. We have factor like this. This formula is so important for identities, so we will use this formula to find the factor in here. So we have s power 3 minus 64 is about, this one is about 4 power 3, 16 is about 4 power 2. We will apply this formula in here. So s power 3 minus 4 power 3, you got about s minus 4, s power 2 plus 4s plus 4. We apply similar the formula in this one. In here we have s power 2 minus 4 power 2, you got about s minus 4, s plus 4. So that you can see that we have s minus 4 in the numerator and s minus 4 in the denominator. We simplify them in here. So you got about limit and s approach to number 4. So that we have the fraction in here. Later that we will put the number 4 inside the s, so you will find the answer. Four power 2 is about 16. 4 multiplied with 4 is about 16. 16 plus 16 is about 32. 32 plus 4 is about 36. 4 plus 4 is about 8. So that we simplify the fraction in here. 36 divided by 4 is about 9. 8 divided by 4 is about 2. So that's the answer for the question for you. Question number 2. We can say that s plus 3 minus 2 is about 1. 1 in here, 1 minus 1 is about 0. So the limit here will become 0 in here. The next one, if we put number 4 in here, we have 4 minus 4 is about 0. 1 divided to 4 minus 1 over 4, they will become 0. So that is mean we have 4 over 4. And we need to simplify the fraction in here. In here, we will do about common denominator. It means this one will multiply with number 4 and this one will multiply with s in here. So you got about 4 divided to 4s minus s divided to 4s. So now we have 4 minus s in here. You can see that 4 minus s and s minus 4, we can swap two numbers together by put the negative side outside. and you got about the negative sign in here, and you got about s minus 4 divided to 4s. So now you have the s minus 4 on the top and s minus 4 in the bottom. You can simplify in here, and you got about the limit s go to 4, and that's about minus 1 over 4s. So you put number 4 in the s, you got about minus 1 over 16. This is the answer number 3. Question number 4. If we put the s go to 0, this one will become 0 and this one becomes 0 too, because sine 0 is about 0 minus tan with 0 at tan 0 is about 0, so it means 0 divided to 0. So we need to simplify this one. So we have sine in here, and the tan will become the sine s divided to cosine. So we have sine s minus sine over cosine. You can see that we have sine in here. We can simplify the sine. So this is becomes sine power 2. This one will become number 1. This one will become 1 divided to cosine. In here, we can see that there's still 0 divided to 0. So we will have multiply cosine in this one. We transfer number 1 in here is about cosine divided to cosine. About the sine s, you will transform to about 1 minus cosine s power 2, because we have this formula. Sine s power 2 plus cosine s power 2 equal to 1. If we want to find the sine s, we will move the cosine s power 2 on the right. That's why you got about 1 minus cosine s power 2. In here, we can reverse 1 minus cosine s power 2 with the minus cosine s power 2 minus 1 in here. And we have cosine s minus 1 divided to cosine. In the cosine s power 2 minus 1, we apply this formula in here. So that you got about cosine s minus 1 cosine s plus 1 in here, and we put negative sign here. Cosine s minus 1 divided to cosine s in here. So in this one we have cosine s minus 1 and cosine s minus 1 in here. So we just simplify the cosine s minus 1, and you got about the minus cosine s plus 1. And we have the 1 over cosine. So if we have the cosine, you put in here. That's why you got about lim go to s go to 0 is minus cosine s and cosine s plus 1. So now if you put the 0 in the cosine, that will become the number 1. This one become number 1. So the answer is about minus 2. The next question, we have sine and sine 2s in here. In here we will transfer the sine 2s in like this. This is the formula you need to remember about that. So we have 2 sine s power 2 with cosine, because sine 2x is about 2 sine cosine, and we have sine in here. That's why sine multiplied with sine, you got about sine power 2, and we have cosine in here. 1 minus cosine. In the sine power 2, we transfer them in about 1 minus cosine. One minus cosine is about 1 minus cosine multiplied with 1 positive with cosine, so that we can simplify 1 minus cosine in here, and you got about the remainder is about 2 multiplied with 1 with cosine and cosine in here, so that you put number 0 in here, and you got about 2 plus 2 is 2 multiplied with 2 is about 4. So the answer for number 5 is about 4. The next one, we find the limit and s approach to the infinity. So in here we have s power 3, s power 2, and there is no s power 3, s, and the non-s. So in here we will divide the numerator and denominator with the s power 3. So you got about 6 4 over s and plus 5s power 3. And in here we have 8 and we have 7 divided to s power 2, and we have minus 3s power 3. So now we will put the limit and s go to approximately positive number. We know that in the fraction we have the s power 3, s power 2, and s power 3. If they approach to the infinity, this number will become the 0. So you got about 6 over 8. And the answer is about 3 over 4. The last question. We have s approximate to the infinity. In here, we can see that we can divide numerator and denominator with the s in here. You should got about s plus 5s. This one will divide to 4 plus 3s power 2. Why I need to get s power 2? Because we divide to s. Then if we want to put the s inside the root, the square root, so we got about s power 2 inside the square root too. That's why we got about 4s power 2 divided to s power 2 plus 3 divided to s power 2. That's why we got the answer in here. This number approximate to the infinity. This will become the 0, and we got about I divided to the square root of 4, and we got about I divided by 2, and the answer is about 4. So this is the end of my video. Thank you for watching.